Despite success in certain areas, many of Britain's most cherished birds of prey remain under threat from man, machine and goodness knows what else. Well, in a moment, we'll meet some of the beauties themselves. But first, with the lowdown on the problems they face, please welcome TV vet Joe Inglis. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, we tend to think that birds of prey are being well controlled nowadays, or being well reintroduced, but there are still problems?
There are, and I mean, it's a rather sad history really, over the last few hundred years, because birds of prey are such an iconic part of our landscape. And since the beginning of the 19th century, there's been big declines in the population, and 5 of the most well-known species, things like the osprey and the golden eagle, were actually extinct before the end of the First World War, and that was mainly due to changes in agriculture and the rise of the big hunts where there's lots of prey birds around.
But we've got red kites back in the Chilterns and all round my part of Hampshire.
We do, and there's been some real successes. Apparently that's a sign of her being very happy.
Right,
so, but yes, there have been some great positive stories, but there are still challenges out there. I mean, we've got through a lot of the challenges of pesticides, DDT and things which were a problem in the 70s, and all of these species are now protected since the 1950s. But we still see, with the population of red kites in the Chilterns has gone very well, but a similar population was introduced elsewhere in an island off Scotland, and that hasn't done so well.
So we still need to
So there are still problems out there, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, hang on, I think there's a message coming through. I've got a message coming through. Here we are. It's a very slow message, but it's on its way.
Whoa. God.
Whoa. On the shoulder. Oh, yeah. Daniel, got me a message. Here we are, my bird's got me a message, my little owl. This is Archimedes, by the way. And I've just unpacked this message from me. Look at that. Yeah, oh, you're right, you're on the message as well. And it says on the back of it, "Come on, England." Here we go. Thank you very much. Martin, you're very welcome. Thank you for that little bit of work there with Archimedes. Now, you are, you know, you run this... I've got to introduce, actually, from Dartmoor Hawking, Martin Whitley. Martin, you all kinds of hawks and birds of prey, and you're obviously aware of the problems we've got in Britain with getting a lot of them reintroduced and building up in numbers again.
The numbers are coming back quite nicely. We've got a lot of birds, especially in the south of England.
Yeah.
With the reintroduction of the kite, the buzzard numbers are coming to a real success story.
I've counted 11 buzzards over my field in Hampshire. I mean,
yes,
I've not seen an awful lot. I live in the Cotswolds, and we see loads of birds of prey, you know, of all sorts. Really. So.
But when it comes to keeping them, these are not pets for people who don't know what they're doing, are they?
Very much not so. This looks like a very sweet, cuddly owl. It's a top-level predator. It needs a lot of specialist handling. They have a very different relationship from any other animal in that he's a self-serving creature. All his life is about him.
Well, yeah, but they're not... That beak isn't hard. I mean, it surprised me when you feel it. It's quite a soft beak until he wants to... chooses to eat you, presumably. Unless you're a mouse. I'm not a mouse.
Well, he's just checking to see if you're offering him any food, so he's got no reason to be aggressive to you. He's not seeing your fingers as food.
So if you were to take up falconry, the things you would need to know would be...
There are lots of experts, you know, you do need to be an expert. As you said, they're not animals to be kept as pets. They really are they're hunting animals, you know, they need to have that exercise. You need to have somewhere to keep them. You need a decent-sized aviary. At very minimum, it needs to be twice their wingspan, but really a lot bigger than that.
We're talking a massive great
big aviary. They need regular exercise. They need to be going out really on a daily basis for exercise, and they need to be fed on a proper high-meat diet. So there's lots to know.
Because we're talking a long life here for birds of prey, aren't we, Martin? How long do they live?
For a bird like this, 20 years in captivity.
Goodness. It's a
lifelong
It's not just for Christmas.
And it
really is for life. And this is what?
This is Galahad. He's a gerfalcon. He's an Arctic falcon. Yes. One of the biggest falcons in the world and one of the fastest creatures on this planet.
Because the peregrine's the fastest creature, isn't it?
In a dive.
In a dive. Is it 75 miles an hour?
No, in a dive, 240 they've timed him in. 240.
Cool, that's... And it drops
in excess of 240,
Goodness me. And he's got on this hat, this is classic falconers.
Yeah, this is just to keep him calm, really. I mean, birds, when they can't see, they tend to go into a state of much calmer behaviour, so that's keeping him relaxed.
You'd be very quiet or put a cat on you.
And that's how, Martha, you were explaining that that's him actually being social. That's a Harris's hawk, and they are one of the easiest birds to keep, if there's such a thing as a bird of prey.
If not, ladies and gentlemen, the quietest. In live television, never work with animals, birds, children.
They are sociable animals, aren't they, Martin?
He is indeed. He's just joining the chat, really.
Yeah.
I think he's monopolising the conversation, to be fair.
But I mean, there are sort of serious issues with the care of birds like this, as well as the housing and the diet, which you must get right. They are prone to various diseases. They can have real problems with their feet. They get a condition called bumblefoot.
Oh, chickens get that.
Yeah, they do. Lots of animals get this, chinchillas and things as well. And it's largely down to their housing, getting the perching right, the right type of perch, which mirrors the kind of perch they would have in the wild. So some birds will perch on trees, some on cliffs, and they like different kinds of perches. So it's really important you get those things right, as well as the diet and the housing and everything.
You want to read that? You bored?
Is that Harris for the Alan Titchmarsh show?
Yes. Oh, God. So now you've got here an absolute monster. We're staying well clear of this. Why the enormous weights at the bottom? This is a bald eagle, not a British native. It's an American native. Look at the size of that.
The power and the wings and the push if she takes off. If she had a perch weighing less than 200 pounds, she would pull it over if she dived off.
Less than 200 pounds?
Yes, she'd end up in the audience down there.
Don't be afraid, this is very heavy. Large grown men struggle to bring these weights on our Acme Eagle restraint system, which you can see down here, specially crafted for this show. So tell us a bit about where this one comes from.
And this is an American eagle, just a fantastic, you know, the beak, and you can just imagine the power she got there. I think she was eyeing up the dog we had on earlier.
There's a snap.
With, you know, with quite realistic prospects. I mean, in the wild, they would hunt some pretty big animals, I'm guessing.
Actually, she could take things up to the size of probably a fox, but she's mainly a fishing comedian.
Like the osprey.
Sort of. She has these great long talons, but they're designed to scoop fish off the top of water.
Yeah. Wow.
But it's still incredibly powerful. If you imagine being bitten by a Rottweiler, that's probably about the power in those feet.
Goodness me. Now, that bird is presumably going to live longer than 20 years. The bigger the bird, generally, the longer they live, don't they?
With me, 40 or 50.
40 or 50.
Probably, yes.
And that's a very specialist bird. I guess you're going to need to know an awful lot, and you're going to have to be quite an expert in keeping birds to deal with a bird of this size and power.
Yes, they are quite complicated creatures to deal with, the eagles. They're horribly intelligent.
Now, as opposed to the owl, you're being a bit unkind about the owl, not particularly wise old owl. What that?
Yeah, I'm afraid if you brought up stories of wise old owl, someone lied to you.
Really?
They really are incredibly stupid creatures. It's their own fault. Huge eyes, huge hearing mechanism, tiny little brain.
Oh dear. Whereas the eagle then is the wise old bird.
This is the wise old bird. This is a horribly bright creature. She doesn't always put that brightness to the best of use.
And she's very bonded to you, isn't she? That's why she's happy sitting on you. She's
very, very bonded to me. She's more or less paired bonded with me. Sees me as a breeding partner. She's a bit of a possessive woman, this one.
Is she excessively demanding? No, we won't go there.
I used to be married. She's easier.
Is there any connection with the fact that you've now got this eagle and the fact that you used to be married rather than the fact that you're married now?
None at all, but we do offer actually divorce services. The other end of the wedding package, divorces, separations, mothers-in-laws.
So if people said, I really fancy getting into birds of prey in terms of keeping them, what would be the best way forward? Go to a particular society? Or...
Join a club, join one of the falconry clubs, they'll take you on, or team up with another falconer locally who will let you tag along and learn about it. It's not something you can just enter into on a whim.
Well, then, if you don't do that, you're definitely on the line for divorce. My thanks to Martin Whitley, Joe Inglis and all the birds. That's it for today on this rather special and shorter than usual show. Thank you to all my guests. I'll be back tomorrow with Chef Marco Pierre White, Strictly's surprise star Lisa Riley, and the fabulous John Wilson and his orchestra performing music from the movies. Until then, good luck, England. See you tomorrow at 3.